Well, we are officially kicking off this new student spotlight. This is Sonia Miller, and I'm here with our student volunteer, Lily. Thank you so much for being here, Lily.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So just to really make sure that whoever is joining us, if you're a first timer here for these student spotlights, what we are doing is these are opportunities to learn and practice and follow along the three-step receive method, which are the three simple steps that allow you to stop settling, stop waiting, and get what you want now. And this is part of a free masterclass I taught last week called Work and Money, What If It Was Easy? Three simple steps again. And in addition to this 90-minute training, which if you missed it, you can catch the replay at, and I'll include the links, whatifitwaseasyclass.com. Just go sign up, you'll get the replay, and you'll really understand and fill in the gaps to what we're doing today. These student spotlights are practice sessions. So you learn the concepts, you understand why it works. And to just give a little bit of an overview, in the class, what we talk about are three shifts that allow you to shift from wanting and seeking and hunting and doing to easy abundance, to accessing the natural abundance that is already right here, all around us, all the time, inside of you and outside of you. And so just as a quick touch base on these three shifts, we talk about why it is that you work harder than you need to, why you settle for less, and how, if you're still struggling, your strategy is not working, and that there's actually a much easier strategy that allows you to tap into this natural abundance. And basically, it's the difference between acting like a hunter who works really hard and is always chasing after a goal that is out in the distance sometime in the future, versus the majestic tree that is always receiving the abundance of life. It doesn't have to hunt or do anything. It's right here, right now. And we as human beings can access the very same characteristics, kind of translate it from a tree to a human being and open up to the abundance. And we do that through the three-step method. So we're going to do this today with Lily. And Lily is also focusing on, she has a very clear thing that she wants to receive. So for those of you who are joining us, I'm going to invite you to, you can participate in a couple ways. You can have a notebook and just take notes. You can listen in for the prompts that I'm going to give Lily and follow along for yourself while we're doing it. Kind of listen to the prompts and then, ask yourself these questions and write them down, or just sort of do them in awareness. Or you can just kind of let this all wash over you and then take these practices. And when you have some quiet time later on in the day, go through the process yourself. All right. And then please post any questions or comments. I'm going to circle back and check periodically. I'm here to answer questions all week long. This is our time to get your questions answered for the masterclass. So this is the time to go deeper with it and practice and breathe life into it. All right. So with that, Lily, let's see. We had a little time to touch base before we went live. And since you did attend the masterclass, I thought it'd be helpful if you just shared a little bit about what brought you to that class, what brings you here today, and what your experience has been so far.
Yeah, so what brings me here is, like you just said, my strategy hasn't been working because it's coming from this doing, and taking action, but, it's not yielding what I need. And, there's this frustration and, it's like, I don't know what else to do. I'm doing the thing and it's not working. Yeah, so I was in the class last week, and what I got from the class is really this energy of just being with what is, but receiving everything, whether it's I want it or not, but just be with it. So that was different from what I was doing in the past, and just be with what is right now, while still wanting what I want, but just being in a place where there's more openness as opposed to resistance because it's not here, and I'm not happy because it's not here, because I've been doing all these things.
Right. And you were specifically focusing on money, and today we're going to go into a very specific want that you have. So you said that what you were doing wasn't working. You mentioned in our conversation too, that part of what was driving you, this doing, was that you weren't feeling safe. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I think that is such a common experience when money issues come up, it gets us right at that deepest level about not feeling safe.
Yeah, because in the class, I brought a question about how do I bring in some more money, because I was in really like survival and needing the money to actually pay my rent, and not having it, but also feeling like I need to do something because this is not safe. And like I got into this frenzy energy, and I was doing from that place to try to get something in, but nothing was coming. And that even heightened this energy of like, oh my God, something's gonna happen. What if they kick me out? What if this? What if this? So I get into even, bigger fear, if you will. And I definitely wasn't feeling safe and acting from that place of not feeling safe.
Right. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I really wanted to highlight that today because this really points to this distinction between being in hunter mode and being in tree mode. If we think about what a hunter is and how a hunter operates, I kind of think of it as the hunter operating system and the tree operating system. So a hunter, by definition, is driven by survival. It is always tuning into when they're hungry or when the family's hungry. It's a need. It's a core need. Okay. And if we don't eat, we're going to die. Right. So immediately, the more that pressure to survive gets activated, we get into fight, flight, freeze mode. And what that does is it literally takes over. The animal instinct will take over. Our nervous system will take over. And we are operating from this place of very narrow focus, very narrow ability to receive, because when we're in hunter mode, or if you're a prey animal that is being chased and you're in survival mode, all of those hormones and chemicals in the body kick in, and literally your brain goes from a broad, relaxed awareness to a narrow focus. We're either trying to focus in on the target, or we are looking for our avenue of escape to eliminate the threat, to escape threat and harm. And so then what happens is we have very narrow focus. Our nervous system is heightened. Our whole body gets tense. It's the opposite of receiving. Okay, so it happens at a physiological level, at a chemical level, and at the level of consciousness, which is where we create our reality. We are not able to access something, truly the power that lies within, because we're focused out. Okay. And I always say, where your attention goes, the energy flows. So when you're in hunter mode, when you're in doing mode, all of your energy, all of your consciousness is going out. And so life's energy is out, it goes out. But when we shift into receiving mode, which is what we're going to practice with this 3-step method, our energy goes in, and life brings the energy, the abundance towards us, right? Additionally, the operating system of the tree is there's always abundance. It's right here. I just sit here, I open my branches and my leaves, and I receive what life has given me. And the abundance is all around. There's no thinking, there's no examination. Instead of closing, it's open. Instead of intention, it's invitation. So what part of what happens with the receive method that allows us to feel safe is, and there is some awareness and mindfulness. That is what we practice with our minds. We shift from thinking to awareness, to stopping and becoming aware. Oh, I'm in doing mode. And then we go from thinking to feeling. We breathe deeply, which automatically starts to settle the nervous system. Okay, so there's a couple things that we bring into this 3-step method that allows us to not only intellectually understand the concepts, but our whole body becomes an instrument of receiving. The tree is an instrument, an embodied invitation. And that's what we become, an embodied invitation. So it isn't just in the awareness, it's our whole being, our whole energy system. So thank you for sharing that, because I really wanted to highlight how safety, in order to really receive, we must feel safe. we must relax, and we have the capacity to do that through nurturing. So this is a very nurturing process, and we talk about that in the class. We shift from fixing ourselves to nurturing ourselves. Yeah, great. So thank you, Lily. I would love for you now to share what it is that you want to receive today. What are you focusing on today?
What I want to receive is one client that pays in full and that pays at full price. That's what I want to receive.
Okay.
One new client.
One new client that pays in full. Okay, great. So for anyone who is, everyone who's here is going to be following along. I'd like you to identify for yourself one thing that you want today. Now, yesterday, we did a different type of receiving, which is I woke up and I was feeling all of these feelings and I got so much spinning in my head. So sometimes we use the 3-step method for everything that's here. It's not clear. It's just like there's all this stuff going on in my head. Today, we got one really clear thing, right? So you can use the 3-step method in many different ways, because ultimately it's all about receiving what is here now. And again, to reinforce that, if you want to receive what you want now, you have to receive what life is giving you right now, because our consciousness creates a reality. So what Lily is receiving right now is I want a client who pays me in full. That's my want. So we're going to start with that want. All right. Now, I also wanted to bring into this, so to flesh it out a little bit more, something else you shared with me, which is you talked about how in some circumstances you've given away your work. You've given it away for free. So just talk a little bit more about that, because this is a very important concept when it comes to receiving. Yeah, so I specifically said paying in full and at full price, specifically because I gave a lot of discounts and I'm a coach in my coaching, but I also gave a lot of things for free for people who could not pay. Because, I believe in helping others. And I was in that place as well, in places where I could not pay, but, I needed the help, but I couldn't afford it. So I want to be able to offer a part of what I give and I serve in a way that into people who are not able to afford it and actually help them out. But I also recognize within myself, I am a generous person, but I have to make that distinction between, yes, generous is beautiful, but I also need to get paid, and the services that I offer are worthy of, the asking price that I'm asking for. Great. Okay. So this is something I've certainly gone through as a business owner whose work is truly about being of service and finding a way to make peace with charging money for something that I feel every human being on the planet should have, but I'm running a business and, so how to work with these desires that somehow we don't know how they work together, and making those distinctions. And when we are in doing mode, we try to force things that don't feel natural. Like sometimes I want someone to pay in full, but I also want to give to people who can't afford it. And then it's like, how do I do this? And trying to put it in a box instead of finding how this all harmonizes. And you can't find that sort of synergistic harmony in the mind, because it's a way of being you. And this is where the 3-step method comes in. This is about you embodying your value. And we talked in the class about one of the shifts is where we get our sense of value. And what happens is when we don't have an embodied sense of value, we try to talk ourselves into feeling more valuable. We try to convince ourselves of the things that we know better, but we don't feel it. Does that make sense? Like, I know I should be charging what I'm worth, and I should be, holding that value, but then I discount, or then and this happens a lot. I make somebody else's needs more important than mine. You talked about being very common for caregivers, right? So the reason the receive method is so powerful to address this is that because we are shifting our context from fixing ourselves, there's something wrong with me, how do I fix this, to I'm going to nurture the feelings that arise for me when somebody can't pay, when I want to be paid and I don't know how to make peace with that. We just nurture everything that arises. And so what happens is, as we receive all that is here for you around this subject, then this receiving is an act of valuing yourself. That's what's happening when we receive all these feelings, all these thoughts. Every part of what's arising for you is welcome here. So you are receiving your needs and wants and conflicts and confusion, all of that as good and valuable. And as you practice receiving everything that's here, this is you nurturing yourself. This is you valuing yourself. And instead of trying to talk yourself into it, your body starts to actually experience being nurtured, being valued, and you become that embodied consciousness. And life basically, if life were talking, would say, oh, she values herself exactly as she is. Well, let's show her that she's valued exactly as she is, and let's send her money and clients. And here's the thing, Lily, I think you know this, creating our reality does not mean controlling our reality. So you might get a client that pays in full, you might not, but the money might come from over here or over here. So we focus on the essence, and the form will come. And the essence for now, for you, I would say is, the essence is you want to feel wanted, valued, appreciated, and you'd like it to come in the form of a client and money, but the essence are those feelings. Does that feel accurate for you?
Yeah, and then the sense of ease around like flow.
Ease and flow.
Really, like I want to be able to embody that and feel that. It's like, okay, there's
Excellent.
no need to, hustle. There's no need for any of that.
Right. Good. So that ease and flow comes from as you nurture yourself simply because you exist, not because you earned it, not because you worked hard, then it's right there for myself here, easy. Then that ease starts to show up in your life as well.
Yeah. So I want to embody that I'm worthy right here, right now. I don't need to do anything. I can't be worthy. I'm still worthy, always be worthy of whatever I desire.
Great. And that's what the 3-step method is, the practice of showing up for yourself that way. So let's move into that. Okay. So for anyone who needs a reminder, the 3-step method is ALI. So A stands for awareness, L stands for let it be here, and I stands for invitation, where we invite more or better. So the first thing what we're going to begin with is awareness. And if you're writing things down, what I like to do is say, I receive, top of a page, and then A is awareness. So it's kind of, I receive that I'm aware, ... And now we're going to start inviting Lily to share her awarenesses. And what I'm going to do is offer prompts, because until you learn how to notice what you're aware of, you're not always aware. So this kind of brings things that you're not aware of into your awareness. So first, let's start with, share with me that everything that you're aware that you want around this.
Yeah. So I want ease around, getting new clients. I want people to refer clients to me like I had in the past, and clients that are ready to start the work and ready to invest in themselves and ready to invest in the long term. And just serve them and, be there for them, and just, like multiple, streams or multiple ways people get referred to me, and getting known for the work that I do, because that also helps, as opposed to just the people that work with me, getting to know me, and that I can, provide a service. And yeah.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And again, as we move through this, if more wants arise, as we go through the other prompts, just speak them out loud. Okay. So now also tell me everything that you're aware of that you don't want.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to hustle. I don't want to push. I don't want to constantly be on social media and maybe get clients, maybe don't. I want, what else do I want? Just ease around, my finances, which is linked to that at the core of it. And, feeling really that's my, I know that in my head, but it's not embodied fully 100% in my body, like how worthy, the services that I provide and how life transforming they are. So really like embody that. And, I feel like, then I'll get matched with that energy with clients as well. So like embody that. So I don't want to be just in my head, but in my body. We're talking about what I don't want. Yeah, I don't want to have to chase anybody. That's not what I want. I want people that are ready to do the work and understand the value of the work and are just willing. People who haven't tried it, just willing. So I don't want anybody to be like, not sure, just people that match my energy, and then I'll guide them through the process as we work together.
Okay, great. So we've been receiving awareness of wants, awareness of don't wants. So I always like to ask, and I'm calling these presumed requirements. What do you think is required for you to have this one client that pays in full easily?
Yeah, so I have this presumption in my head that, people don't know me. I need to be known. I need to be out there. I need to be talking to a lot of people, being on social media all the time, go maybe to different places, maybe yoga studios or whatever, do like workshops, do workshops online, constantly like networking with people. And that feels more like hustling for me at this time than it feels like easeful way to bring in clients. So I feel like I have to do all these things, but then, there's the mind that like, you're not doing all these things. So, nothing's going to happen.
Right, right. So receiving a whole bunch of beliefs, expectations, negative expectations, requirements. I have to do all these things before the very hunter energy, before I can get the prize. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So bringing that into the awareness here.
Mm-hmm.
Wants, don't wants, presumed requirements, beliefs, expectations you shared. How about feelings? What are you aware of that are your concerns or worries or feelings about this?
Yeah, concerns always, like I'm not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
The effort I'm putting is not enough. And that's not going to bring me the results that I want, which is a client, or at least a flow of clients.
Mm-hmm.
And also, my fear and concern of always going back to, survival mode, which I cannot create ease from survival mode. It doesn't match. The energy doesn't match. And, finding myself back into that place. So that's a concern of mine. And I'm aware of that because I transitioned in and out of it for a while. So I'm aware of that, and then every time I go back to that place, it's like, oh, I'm here again, like judging myself for that. So there's judgments there. Yeah. And then, this awareness of like, oh, people don't know you. You're not out there enough. And of course, that also triggers an old fear of mine, fear of being seen. So working with that, I've made a lot of progress, but there's a part of me still don't want to be seen, afraid to be seen, but wants to be seen and known. So there's like these two competing pieces as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of the things.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we bring in the feelings, this is very, very important because this is that safety piece, that nervous system piece.
Mm-hmm.
And so believe me, I get it about wanting to be seen, not wanting to be seen. So the visibility, we want to serve, we want to make an impact, and yet we don't feel safe. And so we receive all these feelings. We're just receiving them and letting them be here is that nurturing process. It's the soothing process. It's the legitimization of those feelings. And here's the deeper part that's happening in consciousness is when you receive and are aware of these, you're starting to become safe to be seen by yourself. Mm-hmm. So we start to create that internally. I see this, I see these feelings, I see this kind of conflict, letting it be here, letting it be here. So everything is being received. So you're doing great. So Lily, anything else that's just showing up in your awareness around this whole want that you have in any capacity?
Yeah, this is a piece that's coming back. It's like people don't know you, people, and you need to be out there. And then there's this big fear about being out there. And again, I'm a little bit out there, but not that much.
So that's a big one then. It kind of keeps coming up. It's like, I need to be out there. People don't know you. This is good that it keeps coming up because it's showing you like, this is really kind of underneath it. It's like, people don't know you. You need to be out there, but I don't want to be out there. I'm afraid to be out there. So that right there, it's feeling to me, it's kind of like this knot, right? So it's emerged a few times. So this with everything else, and we talked a little bit about this with Lucinda's spotlight yesterday, all of this is this knot that is what is actually in your space right now. It's in the space of your mind, it's in the space of your body. And just like the tree is the symbol of a space that is always receiving the nutrition from the earth and the sky, everything it needs, it's just coming in order to receive anything new, like a bowl. If the bowl is full, it can't receive anything new. So what's in your space, like the space of the bowl, is this knot of all this problem solving and what do I do? And I'm afraid. It's all here, right? So instead of continuing to problem solve it, which is like, it's like glue, it just keeps it in the space. What we're doing is we're just letting all of this be here so it can land. We're not trying to solve any of it. We're just allowing it to be here. So with that now, Lily, we're going to shift from A, awareness, now to L, the let it be here. And what we do is, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes now. This helps us get from our heads to our bodies. So let's begin just with the language. So Lily, just repeat after me. First, take a deep breath. I let this all be here.
I let all this be here.
Good. And now allow yourself to take a few deep cleansing breaths. And your breath is the natural intelligence of your body. Deep breathing allows you to shift from thinking to feeling, from survival hypervigilance to relaxation. Take some really deep breaths. Inhale completely, fill your lungs. Hold the fullness for a beat, and then exhale longer and slower. Holding the emptiness for a beat. And do that a couple more times. Just let all of this be as it is, as best you can. And when you let everything be as it is, this is nurturing. This is like the child who can land in the caregiver's lap. The child is upset or afraid. That's all the child needs. And so I'm just going to give you some space, Lily, and for anyone who's following along, just a little quiet time to simply be and settle. And as you let everything land with gentleness and compassion, And all the thoughts and feelings have a place to land. A space starts to open up. And when you're doing this on your own, sometimes you let it be. All you have to say is say the words and you're ready to move on. And sometimes you really need some time to feel your nervous system settle with the breathing. So just trust the feelings instead of the thinkings. So Lily, are you feeling ready to move into the invitation part?
Yeah. And I want to share something.
Okay.
So before I started the breathing, I can feel there's a knot in my back actually. And as I was breathing, I was sending my attention to the knot and breathing deeply. And when I started, I was more like a 9, and I'm more like a 3, 2.5, 3 right now. I can feel a shift in the difference. So I'm focused on that knot that felt really big in my back, like sitting there. And I was like, oh. So, that's the openness you were talking about. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Yeah, I often ask for people to rate it and I forgot to do that. So that's really a great way as you're learning to tune into your body and your body's wisdom. And so much of receiving is about returning home to your own body, to your own being. So you were at a level 9 of discomfort. And then it came down to a 2-3 through the breathing and allowing everything to be as it is.
I could see my nervous system calming down just a little bit, until my breathing became like really soft and easy and back to normal.
Great. Excellent. So another, just a little thing to highlight is when we want to manifest, our minds focus on the thing. I want the client, I want the money. But the thing to always remember is the only reason we ever have any goals, any wants, anything that's out there that we're chasing is because what we actually want is the feeling we think that thing is going to provide us, right? So safety for you with money for sure, being valued, safety around being seen, not being seen, all of that. And then your body was feeling that, that knot, right? So the feeling is ultimately, if I'm safe, I'll be able to relax. And so now you are in the embodied energy of what you want, which is the safety and the relaxation from a 9 to a 2-3. So you're already embodying the invitation of what you want. And life's going to deliver the form. I say, focus on the essence and the form will come. So there's a space now. Space is already the invitation. So life is like, oh, she's got space now. Let's give her more. Let's give her more, right? And you can now amplify it, just like the tree becomes an even more powerful, irresistible invitation with its colors and its fragrance. So this is you now speaking an invitation or thinking an invitation. And this is only if you want to. You really don't even have to. But when we are trying to draw something in for the mind, it's really good to have an invitation, something, what you focus upon flourishes. So instead of focusing on hunting, we're now going to focus on the invitation of what you want. Okay. So what I like to teach is verbal invitations. A really effective way to direct your thoughts is either with an open-ended question, because that's an invitation. It's a nice, broad invitation to life. Which two that are some really easy ones are, okay, now that you're in this space, what else is possible now? Mm-hmm. Or I'm feeling more relaxed. How does it get even better than this? Right? So inviting more or better. Okay. And we can also move into willingness affirmations. And the beauty of willingness affirmations is it allows you to put your focus on what you want. It allows you to say an affirmation, but it works because there's no control. Once we start trying to control it, like trying to use an affirmation that we don't really believe, then you're going to have resistance and that blocks the flow. So I always like to point people towards what's the feeling you want, but sometimes it's you need to soothe the mind because there's something that you need to believe that you don't necessarily believe. So you've worked with affirmations before. I'm kind of curious what is arising for you as your invitation.
So the feeling is ease and flow around finances. That's what's coming up. That's how I want to feel. Whether the
Okay.
money comes from a client or another way, it doesn't matter. But like that's the essence I want to embody. That's how I want to feel. So
Cool.
maybe a willingness around that for me would be
Okay.
that would be helpful.
So I also have some prompts around affirmations. So I always like to have you try on a few for size and then see which feels the most like. Usually our bodies will say, that's it. That's the one that feels good. So just trust the feeling. So a couple prompts are sometimes I'm willing to feel, I'm willing to experience ease and flow with my finances, or I'm willing to believe that I can experience ease and flow with my finances. Which one feels better?
The belief one.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. Yeah, because we want it, but we actually don't really believe it's possible. So if I'm willing to believe it's possible, so let's go with that. I'm willing to believe that I can have a couple here. Let's try a couple other tweaks.
Yeah.
I'm willing to believe that I can experience ease and flow with finances. I'm willing to believe it's possible to have ease and flow with my finances.
Yeah, I'm willing to believe it's possible to have ease and flow around my finances.
Okay, great. And then one more thing that I like to tack on to the end of these mantras is in ways better than I ever imagined possible. I'm willing to believe it's possible, or better than I imagined. So I'm willing to believe it's possible to have ease and flow with my finances in ways better than I ever imagined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that lands.
And another one you can tack on, this is just to play with what feels good, is under all conditions. Okay. Because what the hunter mind will do is it's very conditional. This plus this plus this has to happen before I have to go network and be in social media. All these things have to happen, conditions, which creates delay and time and waiting, right? But under all conditions is right here, right now, whether I network, whether I don't, whether I do social media, whether I don't, where people know about me or not. Maybe life just sends me referrals. So it takes the conditions away. Also, better than I ever imagined, removes conditions, removes the limits of your own mind about what's possible. Okay.
It feels really good.
So which one do you think you're going to play with?
So I'm willing to believe I can have ease and flow around my finances under all conditions, you said? Or any conditions?
Under all conditions.
Under all conditions. That feels real good. Yeah.
Okay, great, great. So this is how you will now, so once you do ALI, for you and for everyone who's practicing, you feel done. Now, a lot of times the mind will say, well, what do I do now? So what you do is you do what's in front of you. Okay. You don't have to do anything to make anything happen. That's taken care of. If there's a doing, you'll either be inspired or, something will show up that you need to do. But if there isn't, then the only thing to do is what's in front of you, which is do the dishes, walk the dog, whatever there's there for you to do. But you are now being moved by another force besides survival, where life will guide you in your doing. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Life will guide you. You'll get a little like, oh, maybe I should do this, or you might become willing to do something that you weren't willing to do before. So the doing is do what's in front of you. And for the mind, to keeping an invitation is anytime you notice that your mind is like, oh, what should I do? You catch the mind doing the hunter thing. The awareness practices stop. I am willing to believe that it's possible to experience ease and flow with money in ways better than I ever imagined. So you want to just keep that affirmation available to you every time the mind or the hunter wants to start kicking up again. Okay. So how is this feeling for you, Lily?
It feels really good. It feels like expansive and open. And like I'm ready to receive right now.
Great, great. And it could come from a client, it could come from anywhere. So
True. That is true.
Great. All right. And now you can practice this and just keep practicing ALI, keep practicing receiving. And you are welcome, Tiffany. Great having you here. And just a couple announcements. So this is my last student spotlight. And for anyone who wants to learn how to actually become masterful as a receiver, I call it becoming a fortunate receiver, which is the counterbalance to the hunter. Okay. The doors are open for an 11-week program that has lifetime access to coaching and support with me. It's called the Receive Now program. And it's designed to teach you the 10 powers of being, really give you the support you need to become a masterful receiver, bringing ALI into all areas of your life. And here's the thing, none of this is hard, but it is unfamiliar, and it does take practice because most of us are overdeveloped in our doing skills, malnourished in our being skills. So really it's about unlearning the struggle of the hunter that's been so overdeveloped so that you can relax into easy receiving. It really can be easy. Go to receiveexperience.com for anybody who'd like to learn more about that. Read through all of the case studies and testimonials and shares. It's very, very inspiring, so you can see what's possible for you. And keep posting questions here on Facebook for the rest of this week. I'll be answering questions as you practice this in your world. Go back, rewatch the replay. I'm here to support you. And Lily, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Great to see how this opened up for you. And I really want to hear what else opens up for you. Okay.
I will. Just quick question. So this is going to be on the Facebook group.
Yes.
I want to share this with a friend that might be interested in a program. So how do they do that? They have to be in the group first, correct? Because it's a private.
Yes. So I may post this in YouTube and other places, but the easiest thing is just have them,
Join the group, right?
program. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll let them in and then they can see it
Okay.
themselves.
Sounds good. Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lily. Have a great day. And thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Sonia.
Okay.
Bye.